Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today we're going to review the Theta Protocol. So this is a top-down view of the overall project from using my analysis model. You can see that the governance is, for this project, governance is uncertain because it's undefined as far as I know. I looked through all their documents. I couldn't find any strong details on their governance model, so it must be something that is to be determined. That being said, the Theta token is expected to have a governance role in the future as far as voting and things like that. But for now, it's to be determined. Some of the negative things: very strong price performance. It's heavily outperformed other cryptocurrencies. It does have a relatively large market cap. It's around number 14 or 13. So it is not small, and it has that high performance risk of people having big bags of profits. And like social media is kind of, so it's aware you're not getting in super early. So this is just a general overview of it. The very strong things about it: very strong leadership, and they have a very large market cap. But a very large market that they can go for. So let's really dive into it. So video content delivery network, that's what this is. This is an infrastructure project using smart contract technology. It is also a trust computer, so that you can use your imagination to think about what are the potentialities for market share that they could get by delivering content with smart contract capabilities. Like smart contracts allow for a trust computer to handle assets, valuable things of that nature, to whatever can be built on top of it. And this thing has 10 to 30 validator nodes, and this isn't that important. It's just the details about the nodes, but it has guardian nodes. It's just the way it reaches consensus. But that being said, not only is it video content delivery, but it could also be content delivery for services like VR, AR, etc. So high bandwidth needs. Theta Edgecast is censorship resistant video streaming P2P using computing power of users. There's where no buffering is needed, and this is exceptional type of technology. They have several patents, which is excellent, for helping deliver high 4K, 8K, VR. The intensity of data delivery is only going to go up, and this is a project that aims to solve some of those of content delivery problems. So what is the problem? It's the last mile delivery of data. So if you look at human populations, and humans are distributed kind of like this in some dense areas and some not so dense areas, there is some difficulty delivering to these undense areas. Traditional structures are fine in highly dense areas. However, networks, delivery centers can be large, and it can be difficult for them to reach the last mile type of content. For this, P2P solutions such as edge nodes, such as Theta, this project, can help service all of this help service all of these people, and also even this network, because P2P delivers if you ever are in a slow internet area, or you're in one of these areas where you're out in the woods or whatever, and you notice that when you're buffering a video, the buffering speed is really slow and the video has a little loading thing. This technology will help alleviate that by having others support the network in a P2P fashion. So that's one of the things that is very valuable about this project, and so that's why I do think it is a powerful project. For video performance, integrating Theta into video delivery allow reduced cost, deeper viewer engagement, and better results. Drive revenues and spend less on revenue. So this project does have a pretty significant problem that it solves. As far as how do they manage edge node content? So if there's illegal content, Theta TV is controlled. Edgecast is the uncontrolled component. And there's a player with a name on it, usually, that is hosting the data. And, people don't want to put their reputation on the line. BitTorrent, for example, and they say that whatever content is shared through the network, if you look at BitTorrent, BitTorrent itself was not liable for illegal content. So there's no liability to this project, so you don't have to worry about liability risks. in this P2P delivery platform. And also the discovery layer is controllable as well. So that's how you discover content. So if there is illegal content, you know, it could be removed from the discovery layer, like the search engines, etc. Okay, so let's go ahead and just get into it. Okay, so price. I do expect this thing to be a performer. That's why I'm doing this review. I often only do reviews on things that I think will perform. And we are talking about 2 tokens for this. And I think both of them could perform. TFUEL is operations, gas, staking, and burning. It is like gas on Ethereum, and the analogy serves. Theta is the governance, shareholder part, and yes, there is things to be determined in the future about how governance will look. You earn TFUEL, and there's a fixed supply. So this is kind of like ownership. So Theta is like ownership, and TFUEL is kind of like it's kind of like ownership as well, but it is also kind of a deflationary token tied to the success of how many transactions happen on the platform. So future increase in demand for the token, I expect that to be the case. Let's go ahead and go this direction. Or here, I'll hit this. So the token used for services and governance. So TFUEL is like gas, data, node ownership, and consensus. Theta has a governance function, and it'll be more defined in the future. TFUEL is paid to content creators and for participants. So it uses a bit of game theory with its token models. The value of the target market is extremely large. It is a trust computer infrastructure type role. And remember, as I say, infrastructure is often the best bet you can make because you're betting on the highway system rather than on any individual project. So when it's an infrastructure project, I like it personally. And that is a very large market. Trust computer market is a very large market, as well as an infrastructure market for data content delivery, and that's only going to grow. If the market for infrastructure is a certain size today, we can expect that to grow because of things like VR, AR. That is only going to increase the demand for how content is delivered. So it is a decentralized delivery network. It's not going to replace, but it is going to be infrastructure. So that's an important thing to note as I get into this project later on. And it does have a major gaming focus. Services provided for video streaming, whatever activities are happening, burn TFUEL token, and this is a trust computer market. So, that is a very, in the trillions, okay? So it's a very large target market. Future market excitement from project. I do expect there to be future market excitement. Now, as regarding all the social media, you're not in early. You're not early to this project. Sorry to say, but a lot of people are already aware of it. So as far as the numbers go, you're not early. Regarding major upcoming events, this is one of the things that I think will make this a token that can be traded in the short term. You can look at the date of this video. I think my claim would be that maybe for the next month or two, you're going to see, at least compared to other cryptos, you're going to see price performance because they want to close the deal with a major player, but mostly because they're upgrading their TFUEL model. So let's take a look at the upgrades right here. So their roadmap for the upgrades, Q2, which is right now or happening in 20 days, is the elite edge nodes, TFUEL staking and burning, new incentive models. So this is to get more participants to better participate. Line DApp with Theta, and Q3, Q4. They're upgrading the edge DApp and making their platform more, delivering more value to the platform. So as far as where it is right now, this is the model right now, and you can see the changes that were made in 20 days, mostly with the TFUEL. Like TFUEL had inflation, it would go to validators, and it would go into circulation, and it would be paid to video platforms. So the TFUEL didn't have much value, didn't have much sync or value, like something causing the value to go up. In the new model, TFUEL has been on a tear lately, and this is the reason why. It explains the recent price action right here is because people are buying it so they can stake it, as well. So that is a temporary sync of value that is being added to the platform from here as it goes into this new model. So you can see that you're also going to have a burn mechanism as well as the network gets used. So they're going to burn some of the TFUEL, and you're also going to be able to stake TFUEL. So TFUEL, like both of these things together, make the token much more useful and actually will drive demand for it. And that's why we saw some significant price performance in TFUEL. This will explain that for those who are wondering why TFUEL has been running. Okay, so as far as money needed to move price up, I expect that to go down over time. Tokens, this is neutral type things right here, but I put it as neutral as far as like on this section, and what made everything bullish is these upcoming events. And so I expect there to be I still do expect strong price performance in the short run from the TFUEL token. And I'll give my final price analysis at the very end. So regarding low inflation, it doesn't have that bad of inflation rates. Token supply distribution, tokens are distributed, so that's excellent as well. Market cap is not low. It is a very big market cap, and price action has been extremely bullish, so that is also something to be considered. It's one of the best performing cryptos, so that is a risk factor as well. So if we're in a bear market, this is probably going to pull back harder than normal things because people have so much profit. Things to consider. Dividend irrelevancy, so that it does pay dividends to the Theta nodes. Okay, so if you're kind of like an owner, and that's a very powerful thing to have that ownership. That's for the Theta token, and TFUEL kind of services as ownership as well because you get a title to the usage of the network through that burn mechanism. It does, see right here, it burns the token. So there is a burn mechanism, but that is for TFUEL only. Okay, so serving a market niche now. I did notice that their website has very low adoption, but that's irrelevant because they are an infrastructure role. So, their content website only has about 21,000 active wallets. Not many people are using it, right? But that's not important because they can service things like YouTube and be in the background of something like YouTube, and that would make the network very valuable, right? They don't need to build out. I think it's wise to not focus on competing with YouTube, and rather they should try to work with as many partners as they can because this technology, this could be the background of something like YouTube, allow for YouTube to operate better. And, the service provided is what would this token, like the TFUEL would experience the service provided benefit of being that company, servicing that value on the back end of something like YouTube. So niche serving a market. Now, yes, it is servicing companies right now. And so basically the market that this thing is serving right now is streaming, smart contracts, token, TNT20, the Theta swap bridge to ETH. I don't care too much about this because, swaps and DEXs and all that. I think they shouldn't focus on that, but whatever, it's up to them. And it is a trust computer. So, you could do powerful things in the future with smart contracts and allow this computer to do cool things in the future. Censorship resistance, and it's also, a trust computer. They want to close a major partnership. They keep trying to close things, and that's obviously what a company would try to do. Okay. But since it's live, you don't have to speculate about them building anything. A lot of projects in crypto, you're speculating that something will be built. It's much better to look. I have these stars right here, and I have stars right here, and I have stars right here. These are some of the strongest things that you want to look for. Having a product alive right now is one of the best things you can look for. Okay, so regarding governance, to be determined. That is not really clear. I couldn't find a lot of details there, and so there, this is just another component of governance that isn't really spelled out. User experience, I didn't like their website, but this is once again irrelevant because they could be a service provider. They have a crappy user experience for their website that I checked out. It's not the best, but whatever. But they could service provide for things, other services. First mover advantage. I do think they do have a first mover advantage because I couldn't find anything else that can really compete with them. So I do expect more people to use this thing in the future, and it has patents and etc. So it is in a powerful position from a business standpoint. Okay, let's look at it. So as far as impressive achievements of the team, you have Michio, CEO, who's the CEO, he made a game. He worked in game companies where he got millions of users, and he has that experience as well. And for this project, this project is a $1 billion startup. So he is successful at that. Yes, he accomplished big things. The project is a bit meta in that it's referring to itself as the $1 billion achievement, but that still counts, right? If a project crosses the $1 billion line, that means the CEO gets that credit. And also the CTO, he's got a PhD in computing and that kind of thing. So, they're very experienced. This project does have 3 patents to it. And, that is very powerful stuff to have patents and inventions. So that is another thing. That's what adds to impressive achievements if you have inventions. I have inventions and $1 billion startup, and they got both of them. So, basically capture live video, transcord in real time, catch and relay video, global reach, through P2P Theta run by members, no central servers. So these are all very impressive achievements, which give it this impressive achievements knockoff. And, impressive achievements mean that there's evidence that management is trustworthy. And, the team is they have a lot of good things going for them, such as they keep their promises, they're wealthy. If someone's wealthy, and they're sticking around and they're still working hard, like one of the projects I'll talk about here is the Omise Go project. That project made a bunch of programmers wealthy, and we haven't heard of them since. At least that's what it appears, because that project is going nowhere to date. So you want to see someone that's rich, right, and that they're still working hard. And they are in that category. As far as shares valuable information and being straightforward, that's the things that make them more trustworthy. And they're also vetted, right? They're also vetted by their strategic partnerships. So who are their partnerships? Like one of the things that when a project has strategic partnerships, that they're in a sense vetted, as in those partners are not going to put their name with something unless they trust the people. So they have enterprise validator nodes with Sony, Samsung, Google, and Lionsgate. That is some heavy hitters. Even Binance is one of them. Samsung is an early investor, and so they have stuff going on with that. So they have heavy hitters with their partnerships. Steven Chen, the co-founder of YouTube, is an advisor. It would be awesome if they can onboard him, because maybe they could get a YouTube deal. And if this thing got a YouTube deal, it would be a 100xer. And so that is a possibility. This exists as a 100x potentiality for this project. Justin Kahn is a Twitch co-founder, and hey, that's a big winner too. So this project has massive 100x potential, and in the long run, I would say this is more of a long-run possibility. And it being $8 billion market cap right now, that would be 800 billion. But that would be like the highest I would ever see this type of thing go. It is possible to go high, but we got to remember this is USD, right? And the dollar goes down, but I don't want to get off topic too much. But I would expect this thing to be probably like a 300 billion if it was highly successful, or even in this range. So you got to consider those possibilities. But if it gets something like YouTube, it could definitely be up there. And if it becomes like a critical infrastructure role. So, there is a significant opportunity for upside. That would be like the extreme case, but whatever. I don't want to go to mention that. All right, so partnerships. We saw that they have great partnerships. And as far as, okay, so external transfer. So how hard is it for people to leave your system? So winner takes all from network effect. Because of the edge case service provider, this is a winners-take-all business model, so that is excellent for them as an investment as well, which means they will have stickability, and it'll be difficult for people to leave. They will be sticky with their customers. Best of the competition, I would say they are for this market that they're going for it in content services provided. So this is an excellent project. Okay, so the CEO, I put him as 8.2, so he's up there. He's a quality stuff, because he's got that experience, millions of users for his games that he messed with early on. $1 billion startup, which is this project. Technology is excellent, users, acquisition, and strategy. So I put him as a higher up there on the list of CEOs. Long-term vision and strategy, the project is working on a clear mission of being that infrastructure role. Developers are motivated because they get compensated. They have compensation models. And plus you got to consider that this thing is still run by the main team. This project is centralized in like who's contributing to it. Like if the team was to vanish off the face of the earth, I don't think this project would survive, because no one would be working on it. It is a bit open source, but you know how it goes. Like the team is basically supporting it until you can see that this governance, until you can see governance take over, it is centrally run, right? So that is something to consider. But high value upgrades, I expect that to be the case. And since this thing is centrally run, the developers are going to be motivated to get compensated. But in the future, they will, when the token becomes a governance token, you're going to look for some kind of funds raised, and that the token will be in control of that for funding future development, upgrades, etc. But I do expect the value of the services provided to increase over time. High value people prioritizing upgrades. Yeah, it's got a clear vision. So for now, since the team is in control of it, team is in control right here. This is the team in control. I expect those decisions to be made well. Let me see if I'm missing anything here. Yeah, I do expect tokens per person to go down. So once again, that's one of the things that I expect to happen. Okay, so large business models, to buy the token, I would expect that to be the case. They already have that with enterprise validator networks. Business partners on ramping will want to be part of that validation network. So yes, business models will want to own this. So that is a good thing. And that contributes to this. Okay, so that is an overview of the details of this project. Basically low market cap with an accomplished CEO. I put no, they do have an accomplished CEO, but it is not a low market cap. Early to social media, nope. Once again, no, you don't have those two things. So these are the three things that equal like something that's a golden find, right? Live niche, they do have live niche, and that is an excellent thing to have. But that's no biggie. This thing still could be a great investment. So pros. It's got an innovator and a leader type position for content delivery. Very large market that they're addressing. Advisors may lead to big partnerships. That YouTube partnership could be massive if that happens. Infrastructure role, that is a massive market as well. The cons, very rapid expansion of price. So there's high profit investors right now, and that is always risky. Those people need to be scared out sometimes because that could be high risk. So you want to, sometimes you want to sit on the sideline, even with a high quality project like this, especially after something's gone up a lot, right? You want to wait and give it some time before you enter, that way you can have this potential savings right here, Okay, so website sucks. That's the bad user experience as far as their website. But once again, that's not a big deal because they're going for that infrastructure type of role. Okay, and finally, for my patrons only, you'll see my final decisions as far as what I do personally. Okay, guys, so if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe, and I hope to bring the highest quality content available out there. All right, bye, guys.